Hi, my name is NUNZIATA, and I'm a New York City-based director and creator of theater, television, and film, and I'm also a proud FENIX Global Artist Ambassador. Today, I am thrilled to be speaking with the acclaimed stand-up comedian, actress, writer, podcast host. She does it all. Her name, ATSUKO OKATSUKA. For more on ATSUKO, you can read more about her right below this video, but in the meantime, here is a sneak peek at the incredible comedy of ATSUKO OKATSUKA.
The other day, I did touch tongues with a stranger's dog. I did. Thank you. Listen, this is what happened. I saw a dog being walked by its owner, so I got excited. I bent down to pet it, and the dog started licking my face, just like, and I started to talk, so I opened my mouth. So boom, contact, you know, tongue to tongue. And let me tell you, I let it give me a few more, you know? Because life is hard. Because life is hard, and I was like, I'm gonna get love wherever I can. Right here will do. And let me tell you, the owner of the dog, she hated it. She did not like it at all. She gave an audible. She was like, ew! Are you kidding me? And in that moment, I woke up, and for some reason, in that moment of fear, the only thing that came out of my mouth back to her was I just said, oh, don't worry, I'm married.
Well, hello, ATSUKO, how are you?
I'm great. Hi, Will. Thanks for having me.
Well, thank you for joining me, and you are very funny. And
Thank you.
The audience just got a little sneak peek at you in action, but I want to know, where did you grow up, and when did you realize that you had a knack for the comedy?
You know, like, I think a lot of folks are witty. A lot of people make people laugh, you know. And I was in Japan, and I came to LA when I was 10. And yeah, like, my family just aren't laughers. They don't emote at all. And I guess I liked a little bit of a challenge. So I would always like try to see if I could at least get them to, like, you know, choke on their water at the dinner table, you know, like that would make me happy, just because they don't even talk during dinner. It's so weird. You know, some people are like scared of Thanksgiving, going home and stuff.
Yeah.
For me, I'm not scared because they don't, like, there's no arguments. They literally don't, there's no arguments. Sure, that's cool, but there's not even like small talk happening, you know? And so
Are you
I
just
think,
trying to get them to choke on their food, or what?
I'm not trying to kill them, but I mean, I'm trying to get them to laugh at something, like, you know, let's break this silence, you
But
know?
not kill them, just laugh.
Just laugh. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. But like, because they don't laugh when they choke on water, it's like a sign that they were about to laugh. I think, I don't know. See, it's made me psychotic, like a psychopath, the amount of, you know, not emoting they do. And so, yeah, I think, you know, around that time, I was like, I like making people laugh. I want people to have a good time. Ultimately, it was because I was like, y'all deserve to have a good time, you know? And
Yeah.
so, yeah. And, you know, but I didn't start comedy till I was like 19 or 20. Yeah.
Wow.
Mhm.
Well, and ATSUKO, what I love so much about your journey, and correct me if I'm wrong, you grew up as a young girl with your mom and your grandmother.
Right. It's a matriarch.
Which, you know, obviously helps shape, you know, who you are, I'm sure, in some way, shape, or form as an artist, no?
For sure. Yeah. Just like women in the family, just like three horned up women, because there's just like no men nearby, you know? And so, yeah, it's, I think unconventional, you know, having like a 50-year, like a woman 50 years older than me teaching me the ways of the world, you know. My
Well,
grandma was the main, like, she raised me.
well, I'm sure you've been told this before, but the director in me is like, oh my gosh, that's a sitcom.
You know,
Have you ever thought about it?
yeah, I'm writing one. It sounds so lame to be like, oh yeah, I'm writing one.
I
Uh,
asked.
Yeah, for sure. Because I was like, you see, I mean, sitcoms are always trying to do like unconventional families,
Yeah,
right?
right.
Like, but I
But you
was like,
actually lived it.
yeah, I was like, mine's, I think, it's not just like not just because it's an Asian American family, but
You're right.
because it's like three women. The middle one has schizophrenia. My mom has schizophrenia.
Oh my.
And that's why my grandma raised me. And
Oh
now my
wow.
grandma is also like a viral sensation. All of it's like super unconventional. I don't know if you know about my grandma,
No,
but
who's your grandma?
no, she's just my grandma, but like all my socials and stuff, folks really um love her. And like she opened up a Twitter the other day, and all she said was like, "Hello everyone, I love you." Boom, 17,000 followers. Just because like in the videos I make with her, like she's like hype woman, while I like twerk and stuff. She plays different instruments with things around the
Oh
kitchen.
my
Like
God, I know exactly who she is. That's your grandmother.
that's my grandma. Yeah. And so, all these things, it's kind of like you don't really see in
But
an
you
Asian
can't make that
American.
up. But I love it. And you obviously did what you had to do to get through it, right? And obviously, I'm sure you having the imagination that you do and also this, willingness, but also need to make people laugh, I'm sure helped you through it. And it makes me think about, what you did in 2012, which was so cool, and correct me if I'm wrong, it was the first Asian American all-female stand-up tour in America,
Mhm.
disorientated, that you co-founded, correct?
Yeah, yeah.
How was
Yeah.
that? How was that? And how did that idea come about? And yeah, what was that whole experience like for you?
Yeah, I think at that time, I was still kind of like newer to comedy, but the pathway to stand up, at that time, the paths were more narrow in that like you have to do it through like comedy clubs. What you do is get in line, do the open mics there. Hopefully the booker sees you, and then get booked. Or a lot like, but there weren't as many venues or spaces to do comedy yet. So of course they were still trying to book folks that they were familiar with, just like historically they're used to seeing a certain kind of comedian. And gosh, it was only Margaret Cho for the longest time, Asian American female stand-up. And so they weren't, I don't think they were ready to really like start booking Asian American female stand-ups that much. So we were like, well, let's make our own space for now. And so we toured with it. And then we found we were the first ever in the US, Asian American mostly female stand-up tour. And what we found when we toured, even like Texas, was there were a ton of folks like excited to see it. They were like, yes, um, we've been wondering, we've been curious, where have you all been? And it was really cool.
I love that,
Yeah.
Atsuko, and I also love the fact that you created your own space. And this is one thing that I keep thinking about when I think about you, is that you're not only an artist, you're a creator. And you've created a lot of your own work. I mean, obviously, you've written on pre-existing shows, and you've been a
Hmm.
part of shows that have been pre-existed and written by other people. But I want to dive into something that I know you've been busy on, especially during the pandemic. Let's go, Atsuko. Talk to me a
Hmm.
little bit about that podcast show and how that all came about.
It started with a live show, and yeah, it's well, my parents met on a Japanese dating game show. And then I was like, how do I pay homage to that? I was like, I don't know. The only way I could do is like make it a show or, make it into my comedy somehow. That's the
Right.
unfortunate thing about knowing me or being a part of my family, is that you'll end up in a show or my jokes. You know what I'm saying?
But Atsuko, I keep thinking this, and I'm sorry for interrupting and pushing the whole sitcom thing. There's something like beautifully relatable slash comedic absurd, yet also entertaining and inspirational about your story.
Mm, thank you. It's
Have you ever been told that, or is it just Will from New York?
Yeah, no, I think in different versions. Yeah, yeah. I just laugh because it's like, you don't want to live this. I'm like, oh, you
But you
don't
know
want
what
to
it
be
is,
here.
Atsuko? Like, I mean, granted, yes, obviously we lived, me and you, for example, lived different experiences. You, as an Asian American, born in Taiwan, raised in Japan before coming here, correct? Is that correct? You were born in Taiwan.
Yeah.
Me, born in Brooklyn, gay, white male, God bless America. But at the end of the day, like,
Mm-hmm.
so much of your comedy is so relatable. And speaking of a little viral moment that you had, other than your grandmother, is when you actually did a comedy show when there was an earthquake back in 2019 in Pasadena.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna take a little look at that moment right now.
Make some noise one time. Hey.
Is the earth still shaking? Yes. It is? What do we do? What are the... I went to art school. Can somebody please tell me? What are the precautions? Where did I go? Under a chair. Hold on. House manager? Is the earth still moving? We're okay? We're okay? Is everybody okay? Someone said watch out. For the speakers, you mean because it'll just fall on me? It's fine. Ooh, wow. Wow. Keep it going for you. Keep it going for the fault line near us. Wow. You know what it feels like to come up dancing and then everyone's like, stop it, you're shaking the earth. Calm down. Woo.
Atsuko, you were introduced, and shortly thereafter, as we saw, the earthquake occurred. What were you thinking when it was actually happening?
Yeah, well, so I learned a lot, Well, I went on stage dancing, right? So I was dancing, and turns out if you're in motion during an earthquake, you don't feel it at all because you're both moving. So I was like, so then the crowd's screaming, right? Because they're not in motion, so they feel the earthquake. So they're screaming, but I thought they were screaming for my dancing. I was like, oh, stop it.
And
Come on,
had you ever gotten a response like that for your dancing? So you thought that you were doing really well.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Will, you go to my Instagram, you'll see the dancing stuff there with my grandma. ATSUKO comedy. It's kind of my thing.
I have to dive into your Instagram more. See, that's my issue. I did a quick peruse, but because my soul's like 98, I was like, I'm going to the website.
Don't
going
worry.
to YouTube.
No, you said website and YouTube, and I was like, oh my goodness, Will, stop aging yourself, but you do look so great.
It's okay. I got good lighting.
You have a glow. Yeah, no, I'm joking. You're like 23.
I'm 37.
Oh my God. See, nobody, you didn't have to disclose that, but you did. Well, you look great. The truth is, yeah, no, people do respond to the dancing. So it wasn't so wild that I thought, they were just like, yeah, the girl who twerks on Instagram.
Right.
And then I realized there were screams of terror, and then so I stopped dancing.
But having been a performer myself I was a professional performer for 25 years. We'll go into that when you interview me on your show. But, before I really went after my bliss of directing, but, I studied many years at UCB. And obviously, in improv, it's all about, the yes and. But the fact that like you went into not only yes anding the earthquake, but like instead of freaking out, like number one thing as a performer, right, make an audience feel comfortable. The fact that like you still held space as grounded as you literally and figuratively could be to make them feel comfortable. I mean, Atsuko, that says so much about you as a performer, like beyond the whole like, gimmick of, oh, the girl who, comedy during the earthquake. Like you literally held space to make people still feel that they're going to be okay, even if you didn't.
Yeah, well, I think about that. I was able to realize that after. It's so important as a performer to not do it for yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of performers forget that. And that's when like they become their own enemy and demon, and they and jealousy and anger, like why am I not ahead, I'm a brilliant performer, why don't people recognize, whenever I've seen performers do that, I always tell them, like, I think you forgot why you got in this in the first place, you know
Amen.
and you can't forget that, like truly, like I got into this because I wanted to make other people laugh, and I love watching people have a great time, and I love having a great time too. And so it's a reciprocation, and so and not to mention, I grew up watching my mom suffer, and she still suffers today. Her medication doesn't work, so she hallucinates on the daily, and she has seizures at least twice a week. So I've had to cater, and there's like to cater to other people. I think it's so important before yourself, right? Like I'm there to do a comedy show, I'm there to tell jokes, right? But an earthquake hits, while I'm self-deprecatingly joking about how I'm ill-equipped to handle this. I went to art school, I still took the time to be like, okay, everyone okay? Like, everyone okay? There's no way I would just go on and start doing my set knowing that there's 200 people who are in a panic and scared. There's no, you cannot do that as a performer. You should make sure every single person is okay first, and then make it about you.
That's good. That makes, but that's who you are. And like you showed yourself. You showed yourself when shit literally hit the fan. But also, I don't want to deep dive too much into the situation. Well, not situation, but you're growing up with your mom and your grandma. But I find it interesting and also commendable that you've always had, from a very young age, a clear North Star, a thesis statement to why you do what you do. And the fact that you've been able to, kind of with blinders, just keep doing what you're doing as a, not to get all spiritual, but as a
No,
vessel. Like, I think that you were born with an innate gift beyond the craft and the studying and the hours upon hours of studying that I know you've done, but you have an innate gift to make people laugh. And the fact that like you've always stuck to that with whatever you do, whether it's your acting, whether it's your writing, whether you're hosting a podcast, whether you're doing your stand-up, it's really commendable.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, it took a long time, obviously, to even like feel confident enough to say that, right? Because you always feel like, oh, I'm a fraud.
But we all do as artists. Do you know what I mean?
For sure. It's so easy to be like, oh, but so many people are funny. So many people, I'm not the only comedian that's done an earthquake during a set during an earthquake,
Right.
which is true, because there were multiple people on stage that night throughout LA that also felt it. I just filmed mine, but not just that, we all experience things differently, yeah, but I think it's where like we all matter in that our experiences are so differently unique.
Yes.
I guess ultimately, again, like it's, don't ever compare yourself to another performer, even in the same field as you, because there's no way you would have the same journey. That would be wild. Even as twins, you don't have the same journey.
Well, I don't know if you know this about me, but I performed 25 years with my twin brother.
Okay, so you do have a twin.
I know, but see, let's go. Like, see, I love
Is he
it.
queer too?
Yes, he is, and he is a
Okay.
singer-songwriter in Nashville. But for years, we didn't really come out as performers because we were doing the whole, symphony orchestra, route, and like we headlined Carnegie Hall, but in between the songs, because we were both improv trained, Anthony was more like the straight man, Dean Martin, and I was more the Jerry Lewis. You're welcome for the old school references. Now you really
Yes.
know my soul. But we studied Abbott and Costello, Carol
Yeah.
Burnett and Julie Andrews, Dean
Yeah.
Martin and Jerry Lewis, the yin to the yang. And but
I love
no.
that you didn't come out as performers, you said, but you totally did just come out,
Wait, say that again.
I love that you said you didn't come out as performers, but you did come out.
Yes, exactly. I mean, when I say we didn't mention it from the stage because we didn't feel like we needed to, but also like for the assignment of who we were playing to, it wouldn't, again, going back to like trying to make an audience feel comfortable, but it was nothing I apologized about, which is cool, but enough about me. ATSUKO, you have so much going on, and people can continue to watch you, not only like me on YouTube and your website, but go on her Instagram and all over. And before we leave ATSUKO, I want to know what you do have coming up, looking ahead as things start to open up, live performance, but also maybe some projects you're curating.
Yeah, I have this. I'm on a show that's gonna come out in July. I don't have a date yet, so maybe that's like a weird project. I don't even know if I'm supposed to super talk about it, but it's with Roku Plus and Funny or Die. And then I am going on tour actually end of September, starting then, and I'm starting with the East Coast, so I'll see you there.
Do you know where you're going to be in New York?
I'm gonna be at the Bell House. Yeah, and yeah, you're in Brooklyn, right? Yeah.
I'm not in Brooklyn.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. I mean,
Oh,
I was
where are
born in
you?
Brooklyn. I'm in Midtown. I'm 57th and 9th.
Oh, okay. Sorry to assume because you said it one time. People
ATSUKO, I
move.
was assuming before that I saw all the videos about you and your grandma.
But I'm like, Brooklyn, have you heard of it?
Wait, that thing all the way out there? Don't you need a passport to get there?
Just
Brooklyn's the best. I'm
start
sorry.
applying for your papers now. Hopefully I'll see you in September. Sorry to drag you back to your birthplace. I'm sure you're over it.
So much trauma with that.
House. Yeah.
Well, ATSUKO, I'm so grateful for your time today. I'm so grateful that I've gotten to know you, and as a fellow creator myself, and the person that introduced us, our friend Laura Shine, who's also someone I'm collaborating with. I really look forward to the day we can possibly collaborate. I think you're incredibly funny. I think your story is, it's incredibly moving. It's inspiring. It's relatable in that, not everyone obviously has the exact circumstances, but the fact that you're vulnerable enough to express about it, I think comedy can help heal, but also someone just being unapologetically truthful can heal. And you do that.
Thank you. And if you could just tell that to my family, maybe they'll start coming to a show or two.
It's, again, it's going to be part of the comedy series. We'll talk offline about that.
Sounds good.
ATSUKO, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much, Will.
Bye.
Artists and bands struggle to make a living. In fact, only a small number of artists can live off their craft. For the 98% of artists that don't have the luxury of being signed to a label, it's tough. But artists deserve to live off their art. Wherever you are around the world, appreciation of music does not change. FENIX brings bands and their fans together, whilst allowing bands to properly monetize their passion. The FENIX app will directly connect bands and fans with no need for middlemen. We're utilizing the blockchain to give the power back to the artist once and for all. Join FENIX, join the change.